Hi everyone, this is Terry from Ramblings of a Texas Craft Room. Today we're going to be rambling about an art-inspired card. I saw a gift bag in a magazine that had a dress form on it, and it was all distressed, and I really did like it, so I thought I would try to make it into a card. And so this is my version of that. You have to have a dress form. I don't have a dress form. If you're lucky enough and you have the dress form, I think Tim Holtz has a really cool one out. I would use that. I don't, so I'm going to make my dress form out of a 3-inch circle. In any Cricut cartridge, or most of the Cricut cartridges, has a circle. Most of the font ones, I think, have circles. So this is a 3-inch circle. If you have a punch, I'd use that. So we're going to make her out of that. And then I'm going to cut. Then I did cut 2 of these fountain pens, and the fountain pens are from the Sentimental cartridge, and I cut them at 6 inches, and we're going to cut them apart, and these are going to be the base. You can see here, this is going to be the base for our little lady in the top. And you'll also need just whatever stamps you want to use. I used stamps, I used paint, and I've used an old book page. All of those anything you would use for altar art, that's what I would put on here. Anything you want. I used a little rose, some pins, some ribbon, and so we'll show you how I did mine, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, first thing we're going to do is have an A2 card. Just use any size card you want, but mine is an A2 size card, and that works well with my 3-inch circle. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to distress this, and I don't have any distressing ink. I just have this really cheap ink, but it's brown, and it's just a medium brown, and it works perfect. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to distress it, and you're not going to see a lot of this card because we're going to cover it up, but I just want to cover up a lot of the white, so when we stamp on top of this, it just gives it a layered look, and that works out pretty good. And you're just going to really, the edges, because you are going to see the edges, so I would just do the edges really well. But if you're lucky enough and you have some of that great Tim Holtz distressing inks, I would definitely use those. I just don't have any. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to stamp around the outside of it like I did here. If you have some pattern paper and you'd rather use that pattern paper, by all means, go right ahead and use your pattern paper. I did not want to waste my pattern paper. I would rather use stamp because we're not going to see enough of it, and you want that stamped look. But if you have, they have some beautiful pattern papers out. You can get some beautiful pattern paper. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stamp this along the edges. That's really all you're going to see. And you can see it just gives it a worn look when you do that. And it's okay if it doesn't go all the way because you want it to look old and weathered. And so you just stamp it right along the edge, all you want. Okay, just like that. Then we're going to take a page out of an old book. And I have this old book that I've been tearing pages out for a long time. And I just got it at a thrift store, and I just tear pages out of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the pages, and you only need one. I think I have 2 here, but you only need 1. And we're just going to rip it so that, you know, it looks old. And we're going to tear all this white off. You don't want any of that. You just want the wording. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to measure it and see. I'm going to look just a little bit smaller on the bottom, maybe. It's about that one. Okay, that'll work. And you just get whatever size you want, however you want. Then you're going to distress this one too. So get out your brown ink, any brown ink, whatever you have. Now I did the around here in black because I'm going to have kind of a black and pink sort of thing, but for the stretching, of course, we're going to use the brown. And we'll just rub it in really well so that it just looks old and tattered, and some places are darker than others. Okay, now I'm going to use my ATG gun just to apply it to the card. It's very thin, so you don't really need a lot, but you use whatever works for you. Okay, so we're going to put this right there in the middle. Okay, then we're going to start stamping it, and I have a whole lot of little stamps. They just say Paris, and they say, you know, they have the Eiffel Tower, and I'm going to do those in black. I'm sorry. I don't want to do those in, I want to do them in the black. Well, first I'm going to paint. Uh-oh, almost forgot. We've got to get our paint on there first. Sorry. So we're going to paint first. So just a little bit of paint. And we're practically going to be dry brushing this, so fairly, because you want it to look dry brushed. So we're just going to get it on your paintbrush, and then you practically dab it off, and you just go over it. It's so light. And you don't really need any in the middle, because we're going to put our dress form down the middle, but you can put some in there. Okay? And if you put a lot and you need to dry it, you can just always get your hot, oh, there you go. Oh, yeah, it's dried perfectly. Not even, it's really dry brushed on there. Okay? Then we're going to start just putting your stamps around the edges that you like. Like I said, mine just say a bunch of stuff about Paris and about traveling and, you know, that sort of thing. And so we're just gonna put them around the edges. Here's an old clock. And this set I have is not a really good set. It's good for this sort of thing if you want it to look old and weathered, because they don't give you, this stamp set I have is really thin, and it doesn't give a good crisp stamp. So it's good for this sort of altered art stuff. It is not good for you know, if you want a good crisp stamp, you're not going to get it with that. Okay, there we go. Let's do, I think that's all I had. Yeah, I think it's good. We're going to leave it like that. Okay? Okay, now we're going to set this aside, and we're going to let it dry, and then we're going to start working on our dress form. Let me show you how I made the dress form. Okay? Now on the dress form, as you can see, I just took a pin and I just cut out the sides to give her a waist. And then I'm just going to cut them out. Okay? There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sort of round her off a little bit so that she looks like a dress form, like she's stuffed little dress form. There we go. And I don't know if a quarter rounder would work for that. You might be able to use a quarter rounder to round those off. I don't know, but I just simpler to do that. There we go. And there she is. There's our little dress form. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to get my pencil just to make sure I've got everything erased off there that I don't want on there. Okay. Now we're going to just dress her a little bit. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go around the edges of her so that she's good and covered, because we want it to look old and worn. And so there we go. Now I have a little stamp that says Paris, if I can see what I did with it. Oh goodness, of course it's always the stamp you're missing. Well, uh-oh, where is she? Where is my little stamp? No, I can't find it. But it's a very small stamp that says Paris, just like this, that I had, you know, 10 minutes ago. Now I don't know what I did with it. Well, we're going to use this stamp because we can't find it, so we're just going to, and we're going to do it in the brown. And we're just going to, wow, that's weird. I really want that other stamp. I really don't want to stamp it with this one. Well, this always happens when the camera's rolling. Okay. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take our thing and we're going to ripe around the edge, because I don't want the circle part. So we'll use this stamp, but we're going to take off the edge part. Okay? And if it doesn't do perfectly, that's okay, because there you go. Because we want her to look old and worn, so she's okay. There we go. So she's okay. We're going to just rough her up a little bit, and she's, there you go. Uh-oh, let me do that. Okay, there she is. Okay, we're good. Okay, now we're going to take a piece of a piece of ribbon, and we're going to tie around her waist. Uh-oh, wait a minute. We're all getting ahead of ourselves. At least I am. I have a small flourish stamp, which I'm going to put around the bottom of her, just to give her a little detail on the bottom. You can cut her out in pattern paper that'll do this too. But I wanted her to have an old worn look, and all the pattern paper I had was just too bright. So there we go. There she is. Now we're going to take our ribbon and we're going to tie it around her waist. Okay. And this is hard. This ribbon is organza ribbon. You can use whatever ribbon you like. You don't even have to use black. Use whatever color you want. But I wanted to use the black. And I like this organza ribbon. It's just really slippery. It's hard to you're probably even out of focus. Sorry. Okay, we'll make it that size right there. Maybe a little smaller. I like that size. And then we're just going to snip it and snip it. And I have a little rose, and we're going to put her right there. And we're going to use, now, I like to use this Beacons 3-in-1 glue. It works perfect. And then as soon as I get this done, we're going to cut this video off because I'm pretty sure I'm hitting my 10-minute mark by now. And YouTube, for some reason, just doesn't want me to make a 20-minute video. I don't know what their problem is. Okay, so we're going to put her right there. Let her dry. There, we're going to let it dry. There we go. And so there she is. So when I come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to put her together and put her on the card. Thanks for watching, and look for part number 2. Thank you. Bye.